She's an award-winning writer, a hunting guide, archery and rifle instructor, keynote speaker, and all-around outdoors woman who encourages you to get outside, hunt, fish, shoot, and savor all that life has to offer. And now, here's your host, Mia Anstine.
Well, hey, hi, hello. I'm so happy to be visiting with you again. Welcome to the show. If it's your first time here, I hope you enjoy it. And if you do, be sure to share it with a friend or family or somebody in your life that you think may enjoy it as well. Today, I have another guest in our Empowered Women's series, and today I have Kelly Godfrey of Texas Women's Outdoors. As we go through our interview today, I just want to let you know that there will be links in the show notes. The episode is also available if you want to watch the video on YouTube. We do share some things over there. And if you have any questions, comments, or want to give feedback, or if there's somebody you would love to have on the podcast, please let me know. You can reach out via direct message on social media over on Mac Outdoors or Mia Anstine. We're all over the place on the major platforms anyways. And you can also email. The email address is contact@miaanstine.com. And I would be happy to answer any questions or maybe have someone on the show that we haven't had before. I will also have links in the show notes to episodes that I referred to and important things that you may need to know. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this episode and that you enjoy Kelly.
This summer, whether at the range or in the field, WSI Sports Hyper-Tech bamboo tanks, tees, and leggings will have you covered. Visit WSISports.com to support the show and use the affiliate code MACO10 for 10% off your purchase. All products are proudly made in the USA. WSI is bringing back pride in American-made clothing. Again, that code is MACO10 for 10% off your order at WSISports.com.
Oh, good morning, Kelly. Thank you for joining me today on Mac Outdoors. I'm very excited to learn more about you and about your organization. For my listeners, would you give them a brief introduction about yourself and let them know who you are and what you do?
Sure, and thanks for having me. So I'm Kelly Godfrey. I am located here in Comanche, Texas, and I'm the owner-founder of Texas Women's Outdoors. And how we kind of came about was purely by accident. I was just looking for an out for myself because after me and my husband had babies, you know, he was my hunting partner, and then I kind of had nobody because all my old girlfriends just like to shop and stuff, and I like to get outdoors. So I just kind of threw it out to my personal Facebook page, hey, would anybody want to go camping with me? And that's just where it started and has evolved. As women, as we were getting together and doing things, and ladies were sharing what we were doing on their social media and to their friends or family, more and more people were just wanting more of what we were doing. And hey, where are you going this weekend? Where are you going to be here? What are you doing now? And can we do a hunt? And can we do a fishing trip? So it just really took off. And we have a community group of like 2,500 ladies plus now. And we have social media like Facebook page, a private community group. We have Instagram now. We have a website. We're starting our what we call a base camp membership now, so you can get perks and other things as well. So yeah, it's just a blessing I didn't really know I needed, but I love, and it's just grown and grown and grown. We also have a team of women that help me coordinate events now. Like it's awesome. Like we go all over. We've done hunting, fishing, camping, hiking, backpacking trips, bow fishing trips, you name it. We've done a lot of it here in Texas.
And so when you're doing these, you said you have like a team that helps you and stuff like that. And I'm picturing it probably started out with a small group of your friends and then it grew from there. How are you getting the people that you're finding now that are coming on the trips or events?
So even when it started and I knew that like I couldn't handle it all myself, these were women that I met along these trips that wanted to help do more and be more involved and, you know, educate women and help, you know, give them the resources they need to keep coming back and doing more with us as well. And even the team I have now, I've all met them on different events too. Or like if they knew somebody that was already on our team, they've reached out to them and said, hey, you would be good at blah, blah, blah. You should join. So yeah,
Yeah.
It's really awesome.
So with these team leaders or whatever whatever you call
Coordinators.
team leaders,
We call them coordinators, event coordinators.
event coordinators. So with
Yes,
the
ma'am.
event coordinators, how many of those do you have helping you? And do they have training or they're just kind of experts in what they do?
Yes, a little of both. So some have experience, years of experience. Some have their like expertise. Each lady is just a little different in what they like, are experienced in or what their expertise is, like shotgun or archery. We have a pro archer, shotgun, Paralympian we've got on there. One lady just loves to camp and hike. So that's kind of her thing, is backpacking and that kind of thing. So we have like a array, I guess you will, like team of coordinators that love just different things.
How long have you guys been doing this?
I kind of started it, and then just in the last probably year and a half, it has evolved to what it is now. And so I would say a good portion of us getting, more involved and bringing on the coordinators, probably about a year and a half.
Okay. And that's when it's kind of like formalized because you see this huge demand. Is the
Yes.
demand pretty much just in Texas? I know you said you guys travel around, but are you kind of focused more on Texas?
Yeah, so we travel around Texas and we do a few things out on the outskirts of Texas. Like we have a pheasant hunt that we always do in Oklahoma because we found this amazing outfitter that we just love, and we go back every year. And that's the other thing that we do is once we find a place that, supports us and brings our group in and takes great care of us and our ladies love it, we always go back to the same place every year and just bring more women back. So we have these, friendships that blossom with it as well, with outfitters, ranch owners. One of the ladies we really enjoy visiting with has an Airbnb. We always go back and use her Airbnb. So she's become a friend. She sits at the dinner table with us some nights. So I mean, just it's fantastic the people we meet along the way.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really building relationships and kind of a
Yes,
community.
relationships.
Yeah,
Yes,
a
that's the word I
community
was looking
around
for.
Texas women.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that has been amazing.
And that's something that I think is so needed for everybody, not just in the outdoor community, but in everybody in the world needs those relationships. And I think it's really cool that you're doing these different events. Can you give us an example of some of the events you guys did this year?
Yes. So let's see. So this last weekend, we were at an outfitter up around Abilene, Texas, and we did a sandhill crane hunt one
Ooh,
morning, and then the next morning we did a duck hunt. There's an outfitter we love to go to a couple times. Well, we now go to them for about 3 times a year out in Winnie, Texas, which is down southeast. And we've done alligator hunts there, teal hunts, which is the duck hunt.
my favorite.
Sorry, and then we go back in November for opening general duck season. So we do big ducks, the teal season, alligator hunts with them. So the cool thing about Texas and why we kind of just generally stick to Texas is Texas has so many different regions. You've got freshwater, offshore fishing, inshore fishing, alligator hunting, mule deer hunting up in the north, crane hunting, different kind of waterfowl all over. Like Texas is huge. So you could travel 4 to 5 hours and hunt something totally different. So there's so many different things you can do in Texas. It offers so much of the wildlife and, all that stuff.
Yeah, there's such a diverse option for women, it sounds.
Yes,
And and
everything.
of course, teal is my favorite. We don't get many teal up here in Colorado. I didn't tell you that. I live in Colorado. I'm in Southwest
Okay.
Colorado.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I used to go with the women's group that kind of fizzled out, but we used to go every September for the early season teal in Louisiana. That was like my birthday present to myself, was to go join the ladies. And that was super
Yeah.
fun. So just listening to you talk about this is really nostalgic to me because I
Yeah.
miss that a lot. And so I'm from Colorado. If I wanted to go, say, for a sandhill crane, could I come and join you, or is it limited
Oh,
to
yes.
just people down there?
No, ma'am. So I've met a lady, she's my good friend now as well. She lives in Minnesota And she comes down here strictly just to go to our hog hunts because they don't have hogs in Minnesota. So yeah, there's that too. So we include anybody. We just say Texas because, we do most of our things in Texas
Yeah.
because it is so huge, and, diversity of wildlife and hunting and fishing things. There's just so much to do here.
Yeah. And so if I wanted to go, say, on the Sandhill Crane Hunt, is that listed on your social media or your website, or where do I find it and how do I book that?
So all of our social media, Facebook community group, Ladies Only is a private community group, our Facebook page, our Instagram has all like an upcoming calendar and a link to our website where you register. So to register and to look at all the details and stuff is on our website, which is texaswomensoutdoors.com. And there's a tab that says, upcoming events, and you just click on that and it'll pull down like a list of what all we have going.
Very cool.
And then
I'm
you just
going to have to subscribe and check it out. Do I have to become
Yeah.
a member to go on the hunt, or tell me about the membership stuff?
So the membership is still new. We just started that back in June of this month, and we did like a 6-month trial. And then coming January of 2024 through December of 2024, this next year, we're going to turn into like a yearly membership, and it's called Base Camp. And if you get a Base Camp membership, you're getting some discount perks on a lot of businesses and people we've partnered with. You'll get discounts within TWO on some of our deposits and things like that. We're going to do a newsletter. And as a Base Camp member, we're going to send out emails to notify our members only what events are dropping before anybody else. You get like 2 weeks prior to everybody else. So you kind of get the more, personal stuff going and our excitement news first before other people do.
Yeah. So they get the perk of being the first to have choice in that
know.
before it's sort of
Yeah.
sold out from everyone else, from the general population.
Yes.
How do most of your events sell out?
Yes, they have. Yes.
Yeah.
Like really fast.
What are some of like the most popular? Is it the hog hunts that are the most popular ones?
Let's see. It just kind of depends on the season. So we have some shotgun clinics that sell out pretty quick. Our fishing sell out pretty quick. Our waterfowl hunts, depending on where they're at, and we're learning still too on the time of year we schedule them, they sell out pretty fast. I mean, honestly, everything does really fast right now. So we're just trying to keep up with what everybody wants. So right now we have a survey going in our group, our private community group only, about, just to kind of get more information from women so we can keep, offering and doing what they want. So we're working towards that too for next year.
When you go on like the hunts, are you usually hunting on private property in Texas, I imagine? Do they have to have hunter ed and a hunter safety card before they hunt?
So one of our requirements for safety is you have to have your hunter's education course, and it doesn't have to be through Texas. It can be through any state. It works all the way around. You have to at least know that. The other thing we ask too is make sure you are confident within your firearm that you bring. And even if you've never done anything like that before, you just have to know how to operate it and have shot it, fired it yourself, and you kind of know what to expect and at least load it. And that's on the hunts that we say, come and be experienced, but we can help you from there. Now, we do offer some MLD doe hunts, and that is managed land doe hunts. And what these are is we'll partner with an outfitter or a high fence ranch or a landowner, and they have gone through the state of Texas and gotten these permits where they can take extra animals off their property, and doe being one of them. We'll bring in women on a Friday afternoon, and we'll call them like a mentor doe hunt. So women that have never harvested a doe before can come in on a Friday afternoon. We'll teach them how to shoot their firearm, make sure they can hit a target, take them hunting. We'll put them with a mentor, and then we'll sit with them, have them, harvest their first animal. If they want to field dress it, they can, or we can walk them through it and then quarter it and then take home meat to their families or themselves to feed themselves. So it's like, it's pretty awesome. We just did one at the beginning of MLD season, which is October this last season. We had 5 brand new hunters. I've never harvested an animal. And each hunter went home with a deer that they harvested themselves and cleaned it and quartered it and took it home. So that was really cool.
And so with the hunters, they're going with the meat. Are they learning how to process it and package it, or do you kind of help them get it to a processor?
Yes. So we'll break it down as far as quartering, because there's so much more in debt on the whole packaging part of it, depending on what cuts and stuff. But as I'm helping them clean, from start to finish, and we're talking about things, I always say, at the neck, you can do roast here or this here, or, back straps, or you can make a roast out of this, or you can, turn this into hamburger. I talked them through everything.
Very nice. So for the listeners and maybe for your people that go to your hunts, we did have Butcher's Solutions we had on a past episode, and she actually travels around and teaches butchering. And so that's something that we're working on having at some of our mentored camps that we do. And that way they can learn. We also, with the SCI chapter that's here local, there's a mentored hunt for youth and their families that don't know how to hunt, and they go through the whole process and package, and then one package gets to go to the table for them to eat, and they can do with the rest what they want. But that's just something, maybe you guys want to do that. I can send you her contact information, because I was so impressed when I was like, wow, she can travel around and teach people, because I was blessed to learn when I was just a youngster. My dad, he worked at a grocery store butcher, so he taught me how to butcher. But it's something that I think a lot of people don't understand, and they're like, oh, just take it to the processor, and you can save a couple dollars if you do it yourself, and just add the work.
Oh, yes. And that's what I tell them. Like, I've done it a million times myself growing up. It's just a lot of work, and it's time consuming, but it's also very rewarding.
Yes. And I was going to ask you, so have you been hunting since you were young, or grew up in a hunting family? Tell us a little about you.
Yes. So my dad raised me. I started hunting with him probably since I could walk. And I started out as his bird dog and just grew up from there. And then, teaching me hunter safety, firearms. And then from there, it just evolved. And he got cancer and passed away. And then from there, just keeping that going. And then now I have my own family, so I'm teaching my son, and I'm just so thankful he taught me all these things, because I think he wanted a boy, but he got me, and then I just came along with him. So it's either stay with grandma or go with him. And I was like, no, I want to go with you and learn all the things. So I'm fortunate enough that he allowed me to go with him, and he taught me everything he knew. And because I hear women all the time where their dads were always like, no, girls aren't allowed, blah, blah, blah. So I'm very fortunate that he taught me everything he knew, and that I can do the thing for these women that I'm meeting along the way, is just share my passion and my experience and my knowledge with other women. Because to me, women are like the foundation of the home. And what more we can educate women, they can teach, take it home and teach their family and their children, and, along the way. And I just think it's great.
Hey guys, are you looking for a stylish concealed carry shirt? Check out Tarn Cap Gear. With print-reducing patterns, concealed carry snaps, and minimal branding, Tarn Cap's cloak of invisibility is what you have been waiting for. Visit mia.limited/tarncap and use the code Anstine for 10% off your purchase. Again, that's mia.limited/tarncap and use code Anstine for 10% off your order.
I think it's great also. I am one of the young ones that I got to tag along on some of the hunts when I was younger, but it was my brother was 5 years older than me. And so it was always my dad and my brother that were the ones with the triggers. So it was like I was there, but it was like, oh, the guys have it handled, you know? So I
Yeah.
love getting women involved right away. What do you think about women and hunting? Because I mean, I grew up in hunting. You grew up with hunting. Do you think we're like a new thing to hunting, or what are your kind of outlooks on women and hunting?
So I didn't realize how new it is to some people until the more I meet women and different more women come from different backgrounds than what I realize when I do these events. Like it's the spectrum is here to here. You know, I've met women that grew up in it but couldn't pull the trigger. They did like the hands-on as far as cleaning the animal and cleaning it when it got home, but they weren't allowed to go hunting. And I've met women that were able to do all of it, you know, from start to finish. And it's just, and then, you know, I hear people that are just now getting into it in their 40s and 50s and they're just running with it. And I'm like, wow, you know, and I always tell them good for you. And, you know, I'm proud of you. And just, I had a lady on one of my mentored hunts that we just did who's also, you know, a different race. And for her to even step out of her comfort zone, come meet people she never knew before and harvest an animal and take it home, like her family told her she was insane for even signing up for the event. And for her to come harvest an animal, you know, shoot a rifle, like that was way out of her comfort zone. And she did it and did it all and was, you know, so proud of herself. And I was obviously very proud of her for just sticking through it and doing all the uncomfortable things. And I don't know, it's just neat the women that we meet on these events.
Yeah, and I just get chills thinking of that
Me
because
too.
you're a part of something that is so life-changing to somebody. And
Yes.
especially from other cultures. We once had a woman from Japan that they're not allowed, her family or
Yep.
wherever she lived, not allowed guns at all. And she
Right.
really was one of those that was terrified of the gun that, you know, it's going to jump off the thing and get her or whatever. And I remember her hands just trembling the first time she touched the firearm. And then I remember at the end of the day how just she was so excited and, you know, just so
Yep.
empowered by the knowledge of knowing actually what the tool does. So it's
Yes,
so neat
exactly.
that you get to experience that, I'm sure, multiple times a year.
Mhm.
And, you know, just I think it's super cool. And it's so great that you're doing this. When you
Yeah.
guys are arranging events, I know here in Colorado you can't hunt big game until you're 12, and New Mexico is a little
Oh.
younger, and Texas I think is even younger. Do you have an age limit, or do you have younger people that are coming to attend the events?
So we've only because we're still so new and growing, we a lot of our events are 18 and older just because of, you know, liability and that kind of thing. But we have insurance now that we got this last year and we're working towards, we've asked a lot of our ladies, you know, if we could do more, what would that be? And so a lot of them have mentioned, you know, open it up to like mom and me stuff or like some youth things so we can bring our kids. So this next year, our new goal focus is going to be to open the door for like youth and do more of like mom and me stuff so that these women can bring their children and we can teach them all together. So that's kind of something we're working towards this next year as well.
Yeah, and when you have the events, I'm sure they all vary in price depending on what you've got going.
Yes, yep. It just depends on what all is involved: food, lodge, outfitter, ranch owner, fishing guide, like just things needed for the event. We try our best to keep things as affordable as possible, but you know, sometimes some things just cost a little more, and also with everything with inflation, everything's going up. So things
Right.
are going up too. And it's just for us to keep going with what we're doing, we have to, you know, keep going up with him because that's just, you know, with what happened and traveling, you know, that kind of thing. So
Yeah, and I totally understand that because, oh my goodness, who knows where prices are going for anything right now. But hopefully in
yes.
the coming year they're going to drop since it's campaign season.
Yes, yes.
For
And
somebody that maybe doesn't have money to go and maybe they look at that as an obstacle, do you have ideas of how to circumvent that challenge?
yes, so this next year we are going to start like a sponsorship packages we're going to hopefully throw out there and see if we can get more sponsorships, that kind of thing, and work towards that and just kind of see where that goes. Because what we would love to do is have enough extra funding where we can sponsor, one or two ladies at an event or, whatever they want to go to, or, have them put their name in a hat and we can draw a name for this event or whatever. But that's something else we're working towards as well, because we're finding out more and more women want to go and do these things, and that's just it. They're either single moms or one income, or sometimes their significant others don't even support them, so they're not even allowed to have that extra funding themselves. And if we can open up that door and say, hey, well, if we give you this spot, or if you want to put your name in the hat for this spot, would you be interested? And yeah, and they're all for it. So the support thing too for a lot of women is a big thing I've ran into with these things, as far as being outdoors, is hunting and fishing, because a lot of ladies don't have that support at home.
Yeah, and I actually, as many interviews as I've done, as many articles as I've written and interviewed people, that actually is not something that anyone has mentioned to me as not having the support at home. But I totally see that. I mean, I understand it.
Mhm.
One thing that I would like to throw out there is that with the SCI chapters, you can reach out to a chapter and ask them if they would like to work with you to sponsor some of these women to get them involved. And there are several in Texas, but if you're a
Okay.
woman or a man who's listening to this show and you want to send somebody down to Texas Women Outdoors, reach out to, if you're in Michigan, ask some of the Michigan
Yeah.
chapters. If you're in Colorado, ask some of the Colorado chapters, because that is part of our mission, is to continue on conservation and hunting and educate people. So there are people that can help. I'm sure Ducks Unlimited and Pheasants Forever and all of them maybe would help as well, because you are
Mhm.
doing some waterfowl and fishing and stuff like that. So just some ideas to help you grow and to help, hopefully, if there's any listeners that see that obstacle as something that would prevent them from getting out there. Usually what I see people mention as the obstacle is not knowing where to go and stuff like that, and wanting a mentor with them, so they can look to you for that. When we're looking at the future, what are you looking at for 2024, for this year? What kind of things do you have in the pipe right now that you're working on?
So we have some partnerships that we're looking forward to be able to offer more things. And then also a big event that we are going to do for our very first in April. It's April 12th, 13th, 14th, I believe, of 2024. And we are going to offer our very first TWO retreat. So what we're trying to do is be able to reach more women at one time as a bigger group, and offer, the one-on-one classes or a little more experience, and give them more hands-on as a group, and they can meet more women. That way they would feel more comfortable doing all the other things that we do throughout the year. So that's our next big thing come April, is we're going to do that and then just kind of see where it goes. So it's only going to be a limited people of 25 this year. We're going to start small, just kind of go from there. And then hopefully it's something we can offer every year, because we're really excited about it.
I
It's going to
imagine
be in,
you'll have a bunch show up for that.
yes, it's going to be located in Concan, Texas at Neil's Lodging. So it's a really neat facility. The Frio River runs right behind us. And so it's exciting. We're really excited about it.
And so I'm thinking of your events, and you open it to your members first when you have an event go live. Do you kind of have the same women over and over at most events, or is it kind of a variety?
So we did at the beginning, you'd see the same faces over and over and over, which was great. But just in the last 6 months, maybe year, I say more probably 6, 7, 8 months. Now that we keep doing and we keep going and they see what we do, we've had a lot more new faces and not a lot more new ladies join. October, we did 2 different ram hunts in South Texas, and we opened those up to a bigger group as well. 2 weeks apart, we had 13 women go on both of them. So it was 26 ladies, which was amazing. And there was so many new faces we saw in those events, which was great. So yeah, it's we're getting out there more. People are seeing us, they're following us, and they're pulling the trigger and going. I know a lot of women, it's just getting out of their comfort zone and signing up for something and meeting new women that they've never met. A lot of women want to bring a friend, but then the friend doesn't care to go. So it's just like, okay, do I do this by myself or I don't? So we're getting more and more of that the more we do, and it's really awesome.
More and more courageous women, because it does take some courage to hop out there on
Yes.
and do
Oh
that.
yeah, and just getting out of your comfort zone. And I've heard this so many times from different women is like, I did it. I finally got out of my comfort zone. I drove 6 hours to meet a bunch of women I've never met before in my life, and my husband thinks I'm crazy, my mom thinks I'm crazy, and I'm like, "Yeah, but you're not crazy. Look what you just got out of it." All these other women that you just now we're all best friends when we leave. Like it's awesome. I just love it.
So cool. And then I imagine they're popping in on your Facebook group and sharing stuff in there too.
Yes. Yep. Yep. All that. And they're getting more, engagement in our community group because they're sharing what they love and, all that stuff. And they're feeling more comfortable there as well. So, yes.
Yeah, and you said the Facebook community is private, so if it was somebody who was worried about other people judging them, they wouldn't have to worry if they shared a picture of their solo hunt or what they did beyond the event.
Yes. And no men. So nobody has to worry about being mansplained or anything like that. Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yes. You ask a question, you share what you love about the outdoors, or share your harvest, or share what you've done this weekend. It's all private, women only community group, and we all support each other and, give each other that support and that love. It's great. It's a great way too for women that, can't afford to go do the things or just aren't comfortable yet, and they can just still see what everybody's doing, and they can, learning to do things on their own too for the most part. And we've had ladies ask, hey, if I was to go do this weekend, would anybody be able to give me some tips on what to wear, what kind of firearm, that kind of thing. So that support is there as well.
Yeah, and that's partly why I started this podcast, was because of the ladies who were asking those questions. And on my
Yes.
website, I have a workbook that's called Questions to Ask When Booking a Guided Hunt, and it's designed for
Oh,
North American hunts. But the benefit of going with a group like TWO is that you're already doing that for them, and they can get there and be like, oh wow, there's this and this. Something that I do caution people all the time is, if you go to a lodge in Texas and you've got your own cabin or your own room, or maybe you're bunking with a couple other people, don't expect when you go book a hunt somewhere else for it to be the same. You've got to ask the questions. So hopefully you can be empowered to kind of know what you've experienced, but then go beyond and work on what your next experience may be.
yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Agree.
And I'm sure that your group is always learning and growing and transitioning. Would you let us know, for my listeners, kind of what, like you said, for this year, you're going to have your leadership retreat. What can we do and where can we reach you to learn more about it and become involved?
So we're still finalizing certain things, but once we get stuff finalized, we'll put everything on our website for people to register. But if they have questions or want to sponsor or help out in any way, or have somebody that they would know that would be good at teaching, fly fishing or something like that, definitely reach out, and you can email me, and that's Texas Women's Outdoors at gmail.com. That's my email address. So yeah, we're like I said, this is our first one, so we're just taking it all in and kind of running with it ourselves. And if you have any suggestions on, what kind of instructors or anything like that, definitely reach out because we're always welcome to to have new people and that kind of thing.
And I love that because it's always great to be learning and growing and open to other
Yes.
ideas. When you guys are sending
Oh,
ideas, because hopefully you'll send Kelly some ideas, don't
yes.
be bossy and tell her what to do because she does have her mission and her vision. But if you have
Yes.
ideas, that's great to
Yep.
share ideas.
For
So
sure. Yes. And if women join our community group, that's in our survey as well of like, what would you like to see? What would do you have businesses that you would like us to partner with or hopefully partner with, give us their information as well. Cause we're always open to, better ourselves and, share the information or wealth or ideas, however you want to take it, because we're all for the most part have the same mission, which is giving more to these women and, educating them and helping them out to better themselves or feed their families. So I'm all about it.
I'm all about it too. I love it. You're doing
Yes.
so great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super awesome. Well, hopefully I'll get to see you at one of the events
Yeah.
this year, and whether it's if I book something with you or maybe at other events, I'm excited for that. I love traveling and going and
Me too.
adventuring. And I want to ask you one other question. And this is
Yes,
something I
ma'am.
thought of earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt you when you were talking about something else. So I keep bringing it back to me and what I want to do. Do you have like a favorite hunt or a favorite fishing, or what's your favorite activity or thing that you want to do? Or do you like it all?
So I grew up with my dad and he loved dove hunting and deer hunting, turkey hunting. So I did a lot of that up until about, I think this is my third or fourth season. I can't remember because I've had so much fun doing it. But I found the love of waterfowl. And my very first waterfowl hunt was down south in Winnie, Texas, with this outfitter called Central Flyway Outfitters. And from the moment I walked in their door, the owner, the cook, they just made me feel so welcome with our group and was like, treat us like family. And then going out to their area. So they have marshland from all the way up to Bolivar Peninsula, which is up to the coast. And it's all marsh. So it's like something I've never seen before because I lived up northern West Texas. And to go down there and just see marsh was like a whole new world. And then just see all the different species of waterfowl. And when they dropped us off in the pit blind on a Marshmaster the first morning, and as the sun's coming up and you're looking out and the ducks are just flying in like crazy and I'm just taking it all in and I'm so super excited and the guy's going shoot them and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like it just from there I've my favorite thing right now is waterfowl hunting, and now I'm slowly learning. Each hunt I've gone on, I learned something else, and I always pick the outfitter's brain about whatever it is at the moment. And I've slowly started to do my own waterfowl hunting on the side here and there, and taking my son with me. So just I'm always learning something, and I just want to learn more about whatever it is, and then that way I can share more with either my kids or women as well. So the more I can learn, the more I can share is how I feel. But right now, if you were to ask me what's my favorite, it would be waterfowl hunting, ducks. I just love it. There's so many different species, so many different things, and it's a whole different thing. And I know you got to get up extra early and it's cold, but it has its own excitement right now.
Yeah. And so when you're waterfowl hunting, are you usually in like a blind, a box blind that's in the water, or layout
Mhm.
blinds, or how are you hunting them?
So down south in Winnie, they have the pit blinds, which they dig a hole and put the pits in, and then you're level with the water. When I hunt up here, like when we do this hunt over here in Abilene that we do, you're either in layout blinds or you're in the A-frame blinds. So because Texas is so diverse in the regions and, the plant life and everything else, there's just different ways you hunt different birds, which is also an exciting thing for me, because you're like, okay, so you're down here, you do it this way, and you're up here, you do it this way. And you see different species at different places too, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And they're like little bullets flying in over you, and just all the different sounds they make. Like, it's just a neat thing.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at how the guides, they can say, okay, this is a group of teal, this is a group of
Yes.
whatever bird. And I'm like,
Yeah.
how they just look like flying birds that are speeding by to me.
Yes. Yep. And that was me the first few times I went duck hunting. I was finally asking the guides, I'm like, how do you know that? And they're like, oh, because of da 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 da. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. So then as I go on more hunts, I try to pay more attention on the different ways they fly and the different sounds they make and that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
I'm so excited to hopefully get to see you this coming year.
Yes.
And so for the listeners, there will be links to Texas Women's Outdoors in the show notes. And I will also put links to the social media and all the sites that Kelly has mentioned. And stay tuned on social media, because hopefully we'll be sharing some in-person stuff. That might be a little hint, but I look forward to sharing that. Kelly, thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your time to share TWO with my listeners.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
Hey, this is Lloyd Bailey, the Armed Lutheran, host of the Armed Lutheran Radio podcast, reminding you that the podcast you're listening to is a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. Check out all the great content at selfdefenseradio.net.